Okay, we are going to take a look at some more examples using our greatest common factor strategy with the reverse distributive property, right? So just basically, in a nutshell, factoring. What's going to be different with these is that these are going to involve more than one variable, all right? And we're gonna look at a couple different looks of this, and so we can start getting ready for the next thing, which is grouping. But for this, let's look at this. So if I look at 15w minus 3v, what I notice is I've got a w over here, I've got a v over here, so there's no variable in common. So I know that those variables are going to wind up inside the parentheses. But what I do have for a greatest common factor is both 15 and 3 are divisible by 3. 15 divided by 3 will give me 5. And 3 divided by 3 will give me 1. So I'm going to pull a 3 out. And I know I'm going to have w minus v. 3 times what is going to give me 15? Well, 3 times 5 is going to give me 15. And again, if you're not good on your math facts, you're going to struggle with this. So really recommend, if you need a flashcard app or something for your phone or whatever it is you need to do. I know it sounds silly saying that to, people who are in high school, but it's a game changer knowing how to quickly work with multiplication and division facts. Otherwise, it's just you're struggling, right? Okay, and then 3 times negative v actually gives me negative 3b, so I don't have to add anything else on this. So this is it. This is what we got, right? And then you can just reverse it, try it to make sure that you did it right. Minus 3v, which is what we started with. So yep, we're good. All right, we know we're all set, and away we go. All right, let's do the next one. Okay, so we've got, I'm looking at this, and for my numbers, right, I'm seeing that, okay, we got 6 and we've got 21. Well, 6 doesn't go into 21, which I know, but 3 goes into both of them, and that's the largest number that they share. So I know I'm going to have a 3. And then we'll look at our next thing. So we've got our x terms, right? So we've got x squared and we got x to the 4th. Well, the largest amount that goes into both of those is x squared. So we're going to have x squared. And then we have my y. I've got 1y here and I've got 3 y's here. Well, the most there is that you can take out, think about what greatest common factor means, is 1. So 3x squared y, right? And now what we're going to do is we're going to see what we got to do to multiply times this to get this, and then the same thing with the second term. So 3 times what gives me 6? Well, 3 times 2. X squared times what gives me x squared? Well, 1. So that's good. And then y times what gives me y? Again, 1. So all I really need over here for this first term is the 2. All right, and then we have plus. We have 3 times what gives me 21? That would be 7. I've got x squared here times what gets me to x to the 4th power. Well, that's going to be another x squared, right? You just do 4 minus 2, and that gives you your exponent, right? If you remember how those exponents work, right? You just subtract or add depending on where you're going. All right, and then we have y times what gives me y to the 3rd power. Well, I know I'm going to have a y, and if I'm going from 1 to 3, I'm going to need 2 more. Okay, so final answer is 3x squared y times 2, the quantity, 2 plus 7x squared y to the 3rd power, or y to the 2nd power. My bad, I read that incorrectly. And we're good. All right, so last one. Interesting, because we could actually factor the numbers 2 different ways. I could factor, and I'm going to show you both of them. All right, so let's start. We've got -4, -8, and 2, and if we ignore the negative signs and we just look at 4, 8, and 2, the largest number that goes into all 3 of these is 2. Right, so I'm going to take a 2 out, and then we've got 2 A's here. We've got 1 A here and 1 A there. So the most I can take out is 1, because you're always taking the least amount, right? And we got 1 B here, 2 B's here, 1 B over there. So we've got 2AB, which also happens to be this term right here. So we know that if nothing else, that last thing is going to be plus 1, right? Because 2ab times 1 gives you this term. So we just got to figure out these first two terms. Well, I know I'm going from 2 to negative 4, so I'm going to need negative 2 to get that to negative 4, because negative times positive is the only way you can get to that. And I'm going from 1a to 2a, so I need another a. So I'm just going to write a. And then b, to get to b, well, it's the same. So that's good. All right, what do I multiply by 2 to get to negative 8? Well, that would be negative 4. We've got the a taken care of, right? There's one here and there's one there. We've got one b, and then we've got 2 over here, so I need one more b. So here we go. All right, now the other way to do this is to look at this and say, okay, what if I factored a negative 2? All right, and then the a and the b would be the same. But look at how that's going to kind of change my answer here. Is then I'm going to wind up with, everything's going to kind of be the opposite. So instead of minus 2a, we're going to have 2a and then plus 4b, right? And then in order to get to this, I would need to make it negative. So you got a double negative, which gets you to this. So both of these gives you a correct answer, right? It's just, it's a matter of how you want to write it. I personally think this bottom one looks a little cleaner, because I like the way this looks a lot more than how this looks. But it's pretty much the same thing. It gets you to the same place. When we get to a point where we're solving things, it's not going to really change how that works. So, so yeah, that's how these work. Next video is going to be on grouping. So we will see you then.